Before gods learned restraint, before war had rules or banners or honour, there was only impact. The sound of bone against bone, the scream that follows realisation too late, and the red certainty that violence had arrived and would not leave unchanged. Long before mortals named war, war already knew their names. And it was born not from wisdom, not from justice, but from raw divine necessity, forged in the shadow of Olympus, where even the gods feared what they were creating. This is not the story of heroic battle or righteous struggle, but of the God who embodies the moment when conflict abandons reason and becomes inevitability. The birth of Ares, whose first breath was taken in a universe already trembling at the thought of him. The Olympian order did not emerge peacefully, for it was carved from the corpses of titans and giants, from cosmic rebellions that shattered the very fabric of existence. And Zeus, newly enthroned, ruled not a calm kingdom, but a wounded cosmos, still echoing with screams. Thunder had won the throne, but thunder alone could not keep it, for the world remained violent, unfinished, unstable, and the gods themselves were fractured beings born from betrayal, prophecy, and bloodshed. In this volatile divine court, the question was not whether war would come again, but who would carry it forward when it did. Hera, queen of Olympus, watched this fragile reign with a fury colder than lightning. For Zeus's authority had been claimed through force, yet maintained through counsel, not her own. Athena stood as living proof of that imbalance, a goddess born from intellect and foresight, a strategist who commanded war without succumbing to it. And Hera saw in her a reminder that power could exist without chaos. It was from this tension, this divine rivalry sharpened by pride and resentment, that the conditions for Ares' birth were formed, not as accident, but as consequence. In some tellings, Hera bore Ares alone, refusing Zeus's seed, drawing upon ancient chthonic forces older than Olympus itself, shaping a god not of balance, but of excess, not of defence, but of assault. Whether by spite or necessity, she conceived a being who would embody the truth Zeus preferred to ignore, that order is only maintained by the constant threat of violence, and that peace without fear is illusion. Ares was not born to rule wars, but to ensure they never truly end. When Ares entered existence, the heavens did not sing, they recoiled. His arrival was marked not by prophecy fulfilled, but by silence broken, a stillness snapping into motion like a drawn blade finally released. Unlike Athena, who emerged fully formed with purpose and clarity, Ares came screaming, raw and unfinished, a god whose nature was instinct before thought, motion before meaning. The gods felt him before they saw him, a pressure in the air, a tightening of reality itself, as though the universe had gained weight. Zeus looked upon his son and felt no pride, only recognition. For Ares was not surprise, but mirror, reflecting the violence Zeus himself had used to seize the cosmos. Hera saw triumph and dread intertwined, for she had created something that could never be recalled. Athena, silent and watchful, understood immediately what Ares represented. Not merely a rival, but a warning. A god who would reveal the cost of war stripped of wisdom. The truth of conflict when strategy collapses into slaughter. Ares did not grow into his power. He erupted into it. He was drawn to chaos instinctively, to the clash of forces, to screams and impact, to the moment when control shatters and survival replaces thought. Where Athena observed battle as pattern and geometry, Ares felt it as rhythm and hunger. He did not plan war, he was war, unfiltered and unrepentant. The god of the charge, the breaking line, the blood that soaks the ground long after victory is declared. The Olympians tolerated him, but they did not trust him. Even Zeus, who wielded storms, understood that Ares could not be reasoned with, only unleashed or restrained. Hera defended him fiercely, yet even she feared what he revealed about herself, for in Ares lived the truth of her rage, her jealousy, her refusal to accept subordination. He was her defiance given form, a god who existed to challenge restraint itself. Among mortals, Ares would become both worshipped and cursed, invoked before battle, yet blamed after defeat, for he offered no promises of justice or glory, only the certainty of violence. He favoured no side, honoured no cause, cared nothing for who was right, only who struck harder, faster, longer. In him, war was not a tool, but an end, a sacred frenzy where meaning dissolved beneath momentum. Athena opposed him not with hatred, but with contempt sharpened by understanding. She saw that Ares represented what war becomes when intellect abdicates responsibility, when strength mistakes itself for purpose. Their rivalry was not merely personal, but philosophical, the eternal struggle between calculated force and unrestrained aggression, between the war that builds empires and the war that burns them down. Yet even Athena knew that Ares could not be erased, for without him, war would lie, pretending to be clean, righteous, manageable. Ares existed to remind gods and mortals alike that violence always extracts more than it gives, that beneath banners and strategies lies the same chaos that birthed him. He was the honesty of war, and that made him unbearable. In time, Ares would be humiliated, wounded, imprisoned, mocked by poets and despised by kings. Yet he would never disappear, for wherever blood was spilled without thought, wherever rage replaced reason, wherever destruction became its own justification, Ares was present, unseen but undeniable. The gods could chain him, but never silence him. And so the birth of Ares was not a moment, but a verdict, a declaration that the cosmos would never be free of violence, only shaped by how it is wielded. He stands not as hero nor villain, but as consequence incarnate, the god who proves that war is not learned, not taught, but born, screaming into existence, demanding to be acknowledged.